Chapter 36 The Ocean Dream. Craig slowly opened his eyes, getting to his feet preparing for his second dream, which he suspects will be more complex than his last dream. When he looked around, he couldn't believe what he saw. He was surrounded by a huge waterfall. As he looked up, a towering structure caught his attention as he picked up that new crystal gems could be waiting up there. He wasted a little time as he walked on the pathway leading to the top of the tower. He walked on the staircase as he saw the waterfall closer, along with the moon in the sky with the stars. This is way more beautiful than the fountain, he looked around. Those places from my last dream don't even compare to this, aside from the 5-star apartment from the hotel in Empire City. When he looked up, he saw a flashing light blue arrow being shot from the top of the tower. Not only that, he saw 2 flying gems from above, heading to the direction while the arrow went. Then he heard a roar in the distance on top of the tower, much more menacing, but he refused to walk back down, knowing he could be needed if possible. Upon heading to the top, he witnessed a tall crystal gem standing on the edge, shooting another arrow to the monster far in the distance. Craig immediately ran up to see the monster a little more closely, as it was a cayenne-colored monster with 4 arms. It slowly went away in the ocean while the 2 flying gems followed it. Then the tall gem turned around, taking Craig by surprise as he backed away. "Sorry, did I distract you when you were shooting arrows?" he responded. "I'm just concerned about it as you are." The tall gem looked straight down at Craig, not responding, to which Craig stood back. "Garnet said I would meet more crystal gems, so you must be one." As Craig looked around on the top of the tower, the ocean's distance was far away compared to the ocean in Beach City from his last dream. "What is this place?" "The Lunar Sea Spire," she responded, getting Craig's attention. "I'm Opal. I've been shooting my arrows from my energy ball at Malachite." "That monster is Malachite?" Craig pointed. "Yes, she is a fusion of Jasper and Lapis." This caused Craig to blink. "Lapis lazuli? I saw a ton of them when I was in the sewers." "And the queen was the main Lapis lazuli?" she asked as Craig nodded. She got on her knees, leaning down to Craig to get his full attention. Pearl, amethyst, and garnet separate Lapis and Jasper on their own in their fusion, but without them, nothing's stopping Malachite. Craig remembered that Steven didn't tell him about Jasper, especially never seeing her in his pink visions. There's got to be some way to stop her. There is only one way, however, it's not completely possible. "I'll do it. No matter what happens, I'll take that risk." Opal smiled from Craig's courage as she leaned back up. She's willing to take Craig to the next location. "I want you to know, I'm Pearl and Amethyst in the fusion." Just when Craig was about to react, he gets teleported out from the tower, thus appearing in the dark room. "Pearl and Amethyst are Opal?" he responded, with Opal no longer in his sight. "Opal?" He looked around with no gem in sight. He then noticed a couch with a desk by it. He made his way to the couch, sitting down as he's more confused of the location itself. "This doesn't feel like I'm nowhere near where Malachite's going." "That's because, my darling," a voice got Craig's attention. "The show is what you need before going to face Malachite." Then lights appeared out of the blue, causing Craig to stay seated. Live from the metaphysical room deep in the temple, it's Sardonyx Tonight. Then the neon sign of Sardonyx Tonight turned on from above, taking Craig by notice as he witnessed Sardonyx sitting on her desk. smiling at him with a microphone in her hand. "Good evening, everybody," she cheered as the audience cheered back. "We have our guest in our show who's not only a kid, but Steven's new best friend, Craig Williams." As the audience cheered at Craig felt like he was part of a talk show that his parents would watch from time to time. He did enjoy some, but never expected himself to be a guest. "I would love to be part of this, but I'm actually needing to stop Malachite," Sardonyx smiled. "You won't be able to handle a monster like her on your own. You need help. Like the same fusion height as her? Sadly, it's not possible." The audience responded in awe, disappointed by Sardonyx's answer. "But you have been in a fusion once, have you?" "Yes, with Steven himself." The audience cheered with the mention of Steven's name. "Yes, Craig Williams. That's a fusion the audience had been talking about." A monitor appears from above, showing Craig defeating Blueport, causing the audience to applaud. Compared to the first attempt at fusion, it's always the third attempt that makes us live it. But you, Craig, was the one who made it possible. If it wasn't for Garnet giving me future vision. She really does have an eye to the future, am I right? Craig would laugh at Sardonyx's sense of humor, but with her having 4 eyes, he wonders if Garnet is part of Sardonyx. Yeah, unlike me who has pink visions all the time. You wouldn't be our guest if you didn't have them. Fair point. Anyway, what we're gonna do next is invite our second guest to the show. Sardonyx presented the second guest by lifting her arm to her, catching Craig's attention. Please, everyone welcome Bismuth. Another spotlight turned on, revealing Bismuth with the audience cheering for her as she waved at them. She walked up by Craig, placing her hand on the sofa behind him. "I've always wanted to be a guest on your show." "It's always a pleasure," Sardonyx smiled. "She's gonna help me?" Craig responded. "Yes. While she won't be able to stop Malachite with her powers, we found a way to stop her." The monitor revealed a picture of the bottom of the ocean with a huge boulder stuffed into a big hole, along with a gem drill on top of it. Pelotot tracked down this location because it's the only way to stop Malachite. We're gonna drain the whole ocean?" Craig reacted in fear. "No, it won't happen," Bismuth laughed. Pelotot learned that someone is trapped in the hole. She can't get out due to the boulder being stuck in the hole, Sardonyx replied. "So we need to dive into the bottom of the sea and destroy the boulder." Bismuth then put her drill on her arm. Pelotot reached the surface after her gem drill went out of power because she can't swim underwater. She spent the last hour breaking that boulder, but it wasn't enough. Sardonyx leaned down to Craig with all 4 of her eyes staring at him. "I will volunteer to help, but despite being a very good swimmer myself, haha," her laughter turned into disappointment. "My warhammer isn't capable of breaking the laws of physics." Craig knew there's no other way around it with someone underneath the boulder, capable of stopping Malachite, while freeing Lapis from the fusion. But he cannot believe he's gonna be in the middle of the ocean in order to accomplish his mission. "What about Jasper?" he asked. "Well, he was an enemy who lived on her own, but now, after the incident, she's now part of Little Homeworld," Bismuth commented. "Let's not turn my show into a depressing dark tone, shall we not?" Sardonyx patted her hand on Craig's head, causing him to fall off his couch. "I just think we shouldn't leave her in the ocean once she's unfused from Lapis." Craig getting on his feet. "We don't leave one gem behind, you meatball." Bismuth wrapped her arm around Craig. And with that being said, I'm teleporting you two near the location the boulder's at. Sardonyx got up from her decks while looking at her audience. We will be watching the whole time through the monitor. Good luck, darlings. Then Quake and Bismuth teleported out of Sardonyx's shell and on a boat in the middle of the ocean. It was getting close to sunrise with the sun shining on the clouds from above. Okay, so should we find Peridot first? Quake replied as Bismuth took the wheel. Hopefully. We would be lucky if she's out of Malachite's way. Bismuth turned on the boat and it began to move. Soon the boat was running very quickly. Quake held on to the bar, preventing himself from falling off. As much as he's happy to ride a boat in the ocean, it's not for a vacation, with the mission being similar to Steven's missions in the real world. Hey Quake, Bismuth called as Quake turned to her. So Steven gave you pink visions? Yes, Quake responded, even though it wasn't intentional. You don't have to explain it, I know what really happened. Do you know how to get rid of them? If I meet you in the real world? Bismuth then turned to him while still holding on to the wheel. No, but I know who could. Are they in this dream? I don't know. Seems this dream is a lot more different than your last. Quake thought he would be having the same dream as the last by meeting each gem in a short amount of time, but since he's sleeping for hours instead of less than before, he's not in a hurry, despite freeing Lapis and Jasper. Do any of you ever have dreams? That is, if we ever sleep every night like Steven. Gems never sleep? No, unless they're too unconscious like Lapis when she was stuck into Malachite for far too long. Jasper really took too much control in that fusion. You catch on quick, Bismuth smiled. Seems your first time in the fusion gave you the feeling Paul has yet to give me. What do you mean? I've been getting along with her 2 years after the universe was saved. We haven't fused yet, but I'm impressed you fused with Steven much quicker when he fused into Connie. Huh? Quake blinked. Steven never told me I was quicker than his girlfriend. Seems more like he's growing close to you on a personal level. Quake looked at the ground to the point that Bismuth caught on his expression. Do you know we've been called brothers in some way? Yes, she looked back to what's in front of her, still keeping control. I bet if you ever come to Little Homeworld, when some gem sees you and Steven hanging out, they believe they would call you brothers. Quake couldn't disagree despite feeling awkward about the idea. My real brother Bernard could be really jealous or really convinced. It'll mostly be the latter. Far in the distance of the ocean, Peridot remained in her boat after failing to destroy the boulder at the bottom of the sea. A rescue team better be here before Malachite does, otherwise I'm stuck in this ocean forever, she reacted as she witnessed 2 flying gems in the air. Hey, down here! The 2 flew down, listening to her emergency call as they landed on her boat. We're here to rescue you, Nice Lapis said. Really? Nice and mean Lapis were available in this dream? Hey, I didn't ask to be part of a rescue team, but since we can fly and have hydrokinesis, this is the best you're getting, mean Lapis retorted. You know, I do wish Jasper would fuse into one of you instead of the Lapis I know and love. Peridot crossed her arms, while mean Lapis leaned down to her. You're just as pitiful as Lapis herself. Just lift your arms up. Peridot signed as she lifted her arms up, allowing Nice Lapis to pick her up from the ground. Mean Lapis followed her as they flew their way over the ocean. However, despite the rescue being taken care of, they heard the war not far away than they thought. Peridot looked down in the ocean. She's aware Malachite can swim underwater, but she may come out at any time. Meanwhile, Quake and Bismuth are getting close to their destination, with Quake looking at the radar. "We're just over a mile away," he responded. "Okay, once we stop the boat, I dive in and I'll destroy the boulder," Bismuth replied. As Quake followed Bismuth's plan, he also kept his eyes in the ocean in case Malachite appeared. Despite the help he's getting from another crystal gem, he hopes Steven would appear in his dream, but so far it's beyond the case at that point. When he looked at the other side, he took out a telescope, looking through it as he was shocked to see Malachite, but also flying above the ocean. "Oh no," he rushed to Bismuth while pointing at Malachite. "She's over there." "I knew it," Bismuth groaned. "She's gonna come near us and destroy our boat." "I didn't think she would fly." Gems who have wings like Lapis can fly no matter how huge the fusion is. "Hey!" Peridot called from above, catching Quake and Bismuth's attention. "Peridot, get out of here!" "No, we have to release her from the boulder. There's no time. She'll dive underwater and stop us." Then Quake turns back to Malachite. She flows towards them in a massive dash while wearing a helmet. "Abandon ship!" he shouted as he got off the boat. Unfortunately, it was too late for Bismuth as Malachite destroyed the boat with a massive blast. "Bismuth!" Quake opened his eyes while holding his breath, witnessing Bismuth sinking down, fainting from the blast. He swam towards her, attempting to pull her up, but with her bulky weight, it's nearly impossible. They sank deeper and deeper while almost to the bottom of the sea, and then Mean Lapis pulled Quake up, getting his attention as he let go of Bismuth. Mean Lapis and Quake reached back to the surface as they got out of the water. "Oh man," Quake reacted, with his whole body and clothes wet. Mean Lapis flew to Nice Lapis as Peridot met Quake face to face. Is Bismuth still down there?" "Yes, I tried pulling her up, but she's too heavy." "Even if you have strength, it won't change the fact I don't have bulky muscles," Mean Lapis retorted. "You can do more than just carry us," Peridot lashed out at her. "Where's your boat then?" "Ah! Guys!" Quake reacted. "This isn't the time for fights. What about the boulder?" "I don't know. I doubt there's anything to destroy it." "What are we going to do?" Nice Lapis replied. "If we don't leave to form another plan, we might..." Then Malachite appeared out from the ocean, causing a massive splash, getting their attention as Malachite looked straight at the group, but more sophisticatedly Quake himself. "You," she spoke with intimidation with a sinister smile. "I've been beyond corrupted to meet you." Quake was frightened while still holding on to Mean Lapis. He didn't want to say anything, but with how his dream functions, he won't be able to get any new information compared to his last dream. "Why do you want to meet me?" he responded. "Because I've heard you fused for the first time. Your ability to fuse is more impressive than what meets the eye." She blinked with all four eyes. "You may not control your eyes, but I can help. What do you want from me?" "Fuse with me." Quake clenched his teeth, not liking what he's getting himself into. "No, you must be Jasper in total control." "You figured that out?" Quake replied. "I doubt Lapis would act this way. You don't even know her nor meet her to see who she really is." Mean Lapis rolled her eyes. "Like you set an example of being part of a gem kind," Peridot commented. Malachite groaned in anger, getting Quake's attention as she backed away, closing all four of her eyes. "So you want to play it the hard way?" Thus summons her hydrokinesis with waddle shaped into a massive hand. You won't even wake up when you drown in the ocean I control. She throws her fist of the ocean towards them, but the Lapises pulled them away. They flew up in the air while Malachite summoned another massive hand, doing the same technique with the two Lapises away from each other. She only focused on Mean Lapis, but Quake let go of her as Malachite hit her with her telekinesis. Nice Lapis managed to fly towards Quake as he grabbed Peridot's legs. You really pushed her over corrupted limits, Nice Lapis said, flying away from Malachite. I wasn't going to fuse her when I got here, Quake responded. We're out of luck anyway, Peridot reacted. I can't swim, Bismuth can't swim, and there's no way we're ever going to set free that person underneath that boulder. In the bottom of the ocean, Bismuth opened her eyes as she got on her feet. Upon looking above the surface, Malachite used all manipulation of the ocean to attack Quake, Peridot, and Nice Lapis. She tried to jump in order to float back up, but no matter what, she always sank down. Upon looking in her surroundings, she saw the boulder itself not far in the distance. With a drill in her arm, she headed to the boulder. Despite the weight of the water slowing her down, she's not giving up, especially with her new friend in danger along with Peridot and Nice Lapis. Get back here, Quake, Malachite shouted in anger as she changed water into ice, launching them towards Quake as Nice Lapis dodged them. More were launched to where it almost hit Peridot and Quake. It's just a dream, it's just a dream, it's not real, Quake repeated himself. Come on, Quake, you're not Steven, but you're better than this, Peridot retorted. I don't control my dreams. What do you expect me to do? I expect you to earn my trust. With her confession out while avoiding danger, it stopped Quake's thought of his situation as he looked up at Peridot. This isn't how I pictured us meeting like this, but I want to trust you like I do with Steven. A thought came to Quake as he remembered from his last dream. You want the real you in the real world to meet me? Yes, it's not because it will remove your pink visions forever, it's because I really wanted a friend as another human who's almost like Steven with or without his powers. She then looked back at Malachite. Not long until looking back at Quake. Lapis would want to be a friend if you come to Beach City. Steven would appreciate that. Quake slowly smiled that his presence in Beach City would be more promising despite his dreams, not reflecting the real personalities of the gems. But he's not backing down from what happens in his dream being more intense. He looked up at Nice Lapis with a confident smile on his face. Let go of us, he shouted, getting the attention from her. Wait, what? Peridot reacted as Nice Lapis let go of her. Ah! Quake and Peridot fell into the ocean while Malachite hit Nice Lapis with her hydrokinesis. Quake held onto Peridot after reaching the surface, knowing she can't swim. Don't worry, I got you. Okay, not what I have in mind to earn your trust. Just hold onto my hand. Peridot grabbed onto Quake's hand as Quake held onto his breath, diving into the ocean. Meanwhile, Bismuth arrived at the boulder as she activated her drill, drilling through the boulder. The time it's taking to whenever Malachite eventually spots her, but little did she know her teammate isn't giving up after he abandoned ship. Where are you, Quake? Malachite groaned. You can't sleep forever, and when you go back to sleep, I'll still be waiting for you. She turned her attention to the ocean, thinking he might be under the sea after eliminating his and Peridot's transportation. She dived into the ocean, hunting down Quake as she swam faster than Quake and Peridot. Upon looking in every direction, she saw them swimming towards the boulder as she wasted little time by performing the spin dash, but then she stopped when a chain took her arm. What? Then another chain took her other arm as it latched on the sand. You're never going to destroy my friends, including my new friend Craig. Malachite resisted while the chains got stronger by the minute, allowing Craig and Peridot more time swimming towards the boulder. Peridot looked at Malachite, concerned now that they're spotted, but it didn't stop Craig no matter what. He and Peridot landed on the boulder as Peridot pointed at Malachite, raging in her predicament. But this only gave Craig the advantage. He looked at the gem drill as he swam towards it. A deck gun was attached to the top, higher enough to where it'll shoot whatever comes out over the boulder. Craig then noticed an emergency rope displayed by the seat, small enough it'll fit inside the deck gun. He got out, handing Peridot the rope as he pointed at the deck gun while lifting his finger out of his hand, indicating to pull the end of the rope out of the gun while the other ties what's inside. Peridot gave him the thumbs up as she swam towards the gem drill. Then Bismuth jumped on the boulder, preparing to drill the center, but then she witnessed Craig and Peridot at the gem drill. She lifted her drill up in the air, activating it as it caught the attention of them. Then Malachite broke one chain as she attempted to break the other chain. Bismuth instructed them to get out of here before it's too late, but Craig still sticking to his plan. He waved to his direction, waiting for Bismuth to be safe, just like him and Peridot. Without any other option other than escaping, Bismuth made her way to the gem drill as fast as she could. After Peridot finished tying inside the deck gun, Craig paid attention to the fire button that sets a 10-second timer upon pressing it. As he looked at Peridot, Bismuth got next to her as Peridot handed her the rope, holding onto it tightly as she turned his attention back to Malachite. Her rage reached her limit as she broke the other chain. Craig pressed the button as he swam towards Peridot and Bismuth, grabbing hold of the rope as Malachite's target was in full view. Peridot shook in fear while Craig prepared for the monster's attack. You're dead meat now! Malachite finally performed her spin dash yet again, but just before she launched, the 10-second timer ran out, shooting the small but fast torpedo out of the deck gun as Craig, Peridot, and Bismuth were pulled by it. Malachite missed them as she destroyed the boulder itself. Craig and the others let go of the rope as Bismuth held onto them, slowing down upon landing on the sea sand. The torpedo explodes while Craig and his friends are safe from it and the disaster. When they turned around, tons of rocks were floating all over the place while Malachite stopped her spin dash. With the hole fully opened, the whole ocean shook like an earthquake. But with someone inside the hole, it wasn't an earthquake. What came out of the hole was a giant blue woman as it took Craig by notice. She was only looking at Malachite as she grabbed her, pulling her up to the surface. Ah! Malachite reacted as she stared at the giant woman. Your reign of this fusion is over. She spoke as her diamond from her chest glows, causing Malachite to leak tears from all four of her eyes. It's time for Lapis to have fun with Craig. She threw her in the air as she performed energy projection, waving her hand as her powers glowed from the air, launching towards Malachite as it caused her to infuse. Both Lapis and Jasper fell back into the water while the woman placed her hand at the bottom of the ocean, allowing Quake, Peridot, and Bismuth to stand on it. In no time, the woman lifted them out of the water, finally allowing Quake to breathe the fresh air. With the sun rising from the distance, it caught his attention, but the moment he stared at the giant blue woman, he nearly lost his balance until Peridot grabbed his arm. "You," she spoke. "Hi," Quake waved. "I'm the person who was trapped in that hole," she smiled. "I'm Blue Diamond." Quake's memory came back when Steven showed him the diamonds the night he showed him his gem. Blue Diamond. He stunned in disbelief. "In my imagination, I didn't expect you to be this huge." "You have no idea," Bismuth commented while smiling. "Seems your memory isn't the best, but I wouldn't expect that from a human who's also a child." Blue Diamond then placed her other hand in the ocean, picking up Jasper while she fainted from her energy projection. "What you did down there was intelligent, using malachite as the sole solution to set me free. I was concerned at first, but thank the stars my deck gun was put into great use," Peridot cheered. "We're still working out on our ocean research," Bismuth replied. "I thought small torpedoes were enough. Not enough to destroy huge boulders." When Quake looked at Jasper himself, he never expected her to go to the extremes against him. In fact, it made him more alive the moment he dodged her fusion's attack. "Is she alright in the real world?" he wondered. "Yes, but if it wasn't for Steven shattering her and bringing her back to life, she would still be on her own. I still don't know if I want to meet her in the real world. She's not dangerous like she was just now. She is aggressive for another fight, but just for Steven. I'm probably not gonna look forward to that." "Hey," Peridot looked around. "Where's Lapis?" Quake also remembered after the diffusion of malachite. "Yeah, where is she?" Quake looked down in the ocean. "Is she in the ocean?" "Yes," Blue Diamond answered. "But with her way of water of any kind, she's more capable of controlling water her way." When Quake turned around, still on the edge of Blue Diamond's hand, "I thought we freed her from the fusion. I guess we're too late." As he lowered his head, Blue Diamond grew a smile, while someone flew out of the ocean, grabbing both of Quake's arms. Quake reacted in an instant as he is higher up in the air. When he looked up, he witnessed Lapis Lazuli herself as she lifted him up, landing on her back while grabbing his legs. "Don't worry, I'm not gonna drop you," she looked back, "and I'm more free than ever." Lapis flew down the ocean with Quake's legs close to the water. Lapis and Quake saw the reflection as Lapis placed her fingers through the water. "This may not be like how Steven saved me from the mirror, but this is a lot bigger than getting out of an unhealthy fusion." "Well, it wasn't like you were trapped physically compared to before. In this dream, I'm not emotionless, and not pitiful like in the real world." She continued leaving her fingers in the water as she made a turn, causing Quake to hold on to her more. "Come on, put your hand in the water." Upon taking her offer, Quake lifted his hand out, placing it in the water above Lapis's. Even after everything he went through, his dream, like the crystal gems, made the ocean real. It's cleaner to well, it's the perfect blue color compared to the water from the beach close to him. "I really need to be more emotional," Quake said, feeling the ocean. "You don't have to try too hard, but never be so blue." Lapis flew up as she headed back to Blue Diamond, who she and the others enjoyed seeing her safe and sound. Quake got the hang of riding Lapis as he lifted both of his hands out, chewing like Steven did when he rode Lapis for the first time. Once Lapis placed Quake on Blue Diamond's hand and landed on her, they all get teleported back to Sardonic's talk show, except Blue Diamond and Jasper. But then another gem appeared on Blue Diamond's hand with a camera in her hand from 4 arms. "And we're rolling," she called as Blue Diamond was shown through the monitor. "What a juicy adventure," Sardonyx cheered, as did the audience. Quake sat back down on his couch while Bismuth, Peridot, and Lapis were around him. I would expect a fight like the Alexandrite vs. Malachite by Max Island, but what you did, Quake, was so intelligent. "It was mostly Peridot's gem drill," Quake responded. Without it, we wouldn't be here, actually, and I would probably wake up in the middle of the night. At least you showcased an elegant moment with Lapis Lazuli. "Hey, what can I say? I wanted to give him an introduction since I'm no longer part of a fusion," Lapis smiled. "Easy for you to say. I didn't get my own introduction unlike you two," Peridot said, turning to Lapis and Bismuth. "I still had the lamest introduction from the last dream," Amethyst called while sitting on her chair in front of the talk show. "You still had one, unlike me," Peridot groaned. "I was a horse!" "Alright, quiet down, Amethyst." Sardonyx looked at Amethyst as she crossed her arms. "Now let's have a word with our newest guest, Blue Diamond." As Blue Diamond was still in front of the camera, she kept her smile as Sardonyx stood next to the monitor. "We all know you found Quake's plan genius. So tell me, what do you think Quake should earn as a reward?" "Simple," she responded. "While I'm allowing him to enjoy the rest of his dream, in the next dream, I'm taking him to Homeworld." Quake was shocked to hear the word Homeworld as Sardonyx laughed. "Seems fair for a vacation reward. It's mostly a visit reward for him to meet Spinel along with Lelo and White Diamond. Now that'll be another juicy dream next time. I'll take him on my ship when he falls back to sleep. I'll be looking forward to giving him another important dream. That will be all." As the gem turned off the camera, Blue Diamond headed to a nearby island to drop off the gem, afterwards heading to a ship where the first location of the next dream takes place. She wanted to meet Quake again, but knew this was about his new friends he made. No matter how long Quake's day will be once he wakes up, she's ready for him. My stars, I can't think of a better way of going to outer space to a planet we all used to be feared, but all remember in peace. Sardonyx sat back down. "Quake, what you think of your prize?" Quake stood still as if Steven's life as a human was enough for his dreams to handle. "I wouldn't be any happier if Homeworld was actually forbidden." Sardonyx, her audience, including the Crystal Gems, all laughed from Quake's choice of words. "Bet you're shy meeting the diamonds. They're not what they were back then, just because we can only afford one epilogue episode involving them." "Hey, at least Blue Diamond sang a song we can hear at Homeworld's gift shop," Bismuth smiled. Sardonyx then leaned towards Quake with a smile on her face. "You're definitely gonna enjoy Spinel, especially from her stunning movie performance." "She starred in Homeworld's first ever film," Quake responded. Sardonyx laughed yet again. "No, but she had wonderful musical numbers with Steven no less. We would show you, but we also had a song that shouldn't be overlooked, Peridot said. Anyway, Sardonyx leaned back, we would love to sing our famous songs, but we're running out of time. As she faced the music, she stood up from her decks. I want you to give Craig and his friends a round of applause as we wrap up Sardonyx tonight, and let Craig know Paul and Garnet were always here for the show, literally. The audience clapped for Craig and his friends, including Amethyst, as all the spotlights turned off with Craig and his friends teleporting out of the talk show and onto an island with Craig into his swimsuit. Wow, Craig looked at himself and the island itself. Paul and Garnet were Sardonyx the whole time. Seems they mean it when they say unfinished business. Bismuth patted on Craig's back. They just wanted to surprise you like Sardonyx would do. They've been thinking about it for this dream, Lapis added. What about Opal? Craig remembered. It was the only way Amethyst would do something in this dream. Okay, she seriously needs something to do in my next dream. So do I, Peridot chimed in. But let's talk beach time! She took Craig's hand as they stepped into the ocean water with Lapis and Bismuth following suit. After the mission they did, he's getting something that his last dream didn't. Having fun with the crystal gems, no matter who they are, upon splashing with each other, all the while getting tossed in the water by Bismuth thanks to her strength, and Lapis's hydrokinesis moving him up in many ways like slides in a water park. I've been doing this a lot with the kids in Beach City, Lapis spoke as Craig went into the water, popping his head out. Including the other gems their size, he asked. Yes, but mostly the kids. What I do during my spare time is gardening, Peridot replied. If we didn't do our mission, you would have woken up to a garden filled with all kinds of flowers. As Craig got his body out, a thought came to him. What about Little Homeworld? The crystal gems looked at each other with all the answers they had for him. You would have been there more if it wasn't for this mission getting in the way, Bismuth answered, including Beach City. Craig never had any issues with the island he had, but with it all in the way, preventing him from going to the places he thought about, he had to face the facts. Seems my dreams really want me to see those places myself. Is that what's best? Lapis responded while placing her hand on her shoulder. Because going to those two places outside of your dreams would keep the mysteries special. Yeah, Peridot added while lowering her head. Especially that will not. This causes Craig to hug Peridot. You're all real in my own way, dreams or not. Peridot teared up with a sweet smile on her face. She hugged Craig back with tears coming down on her face. I hope you meet us again, even if it means you're starting all over from scratch. I'll take that if Steven takes me to Beach City. Lapis and Bismuth joined in on the hug. With what happens in the real world, they know Craig will instantly be friends with them. As they got back to having fun on the beach, two gems were hiding behind the trees, smiling at Craig, having fun with his new friends. They still have enough time until Craig wakes up from his slumber to where they know it will end his dream with a bang. But then again, one of the gems was not the only one with Blue Diamond until she dropped her off. The sky turned orange as Craig's completely worn out, laying on the sand after waving to Peridot, Lapis, and Bismuth. Lapis used her hydrokinesis to take herself and her friends away from the island, all the while waving goodbye to Craig. Craig felt like he did everything there is for him to do in his dream, as it's a matter of time for him to wake up soon. but then he heard two people walking up from behind, standing on his left side with the other gem on the right side. When he turned to his right, he saw Opal kneeling down next to him, but she wasn't the one covering the sun for him. When he turned to his left, a fire-shaped head blocked his view of the sun, keeping her grin with her dark red shades on. "Chillaxing after a venture, my dude," she responded. "Yeah," Quake getting up, also witnessing her gem on her belly button. "What, you thought Steven was the only pal that can have a gem on his belly button? Kind of. Who are you?" "Sunstone." She lifted him up by grabbing his hand. "I've seen everything you've done in your dream adventure. Wish I had popcorn with me. I didn't think I was being watched. Don't worry, I wasn't gonna harm you." Sunstone wrapped her lower arm around Quake. "I never ever harm any pal I come across. I just want to meet you before you wake up. I want to see you again after the mission you and the Crystal Gems did," Opal smiled. "You showed a lot of synergy. I'm always full of synergy, even if it's not for everyone from the creek," Quake replied. "But Steven, his synergy is way more precious." "You're catching on real good," Sunstone replied. "Those dudes in the creek would love to have their imagination come to life with that Steven pal around. My best friends experienced that, especially with Stu Barr's girlfriend keeping Lil Knight real happy. We're all looking forward to that." "Don't get your hopes up." Quake's smile went away when he turned around, along with Sunstone and Opal, who knew she would get up eventually. Quake was taken aback with the presence of Jasper on her feet after the diffusion that occurred. Jasper? Yeah, Sunstone wasn't the only one to get dropped off on this island broadcasting Blue Diamond. "She also dropped me off here," she groaned. "Please don't tell me you're gonna fight me because I really don't want to." "I'm not." Quake sighed in relief, despite still being confused about Jasper's presence. "Are you coming back in my dream?" Jasper walked up to him, staring down, but not threatening him, not even playing mind games with him. "No," she responded. "Not because I don't want to lose against you, it's because on Homeworld, there's 4 diamonds instead of 3. Blue Diamond said yes, she did say yellow and white diamond, but Spinel isn't a diamond. She leaned down to Quake's level, looking straight to his eyes. Pink Diamond will be there, waiting for you. "Oh no," Opal commented, while Sunstone let go of Quake, placing all hands on her hips, frowning straight at Jasper. "I'm not lying. Just because she's gone in the real world doesn't mean she is in any dream, with or without pink eyes." Quake felt speechless, thinking that his mindset would be focusing on the 3 diamonds in Spinel. But now with the presence of the infamous diamond of them all, who is also Steven's mother in disguise, he can't tell if it's awkward or really scary. "Yeah," Jasper leaning back. "You can't always have happiness in every dream you get. There's always nightmares among them. That doesn't mean I'm afraid of Pink Diamond," Quake putting his foot down. "And also, I know how to defend myself like I did when you were fused with Lapis. Malachite isn't like Pink Diamond, because she isn't a member of the Great Diamond Authority unlike her. You know that's not gonna happen when he goes to sleep again," Opal said, stepping in. "Steven's powers inside him are getting stronger and stronger." Jasper looked at Opal, pointing at Quake. "You know it won't stop until it's finally out of him." Sunstone remained silent, even though she doesn't like what she's hearing. "I'm not gonna be dangerous like Steven was. I don't even have all of his powers," Quake spoke. Jasper then walked past him, stepping into the water until stopping, not turning around. What he gave you is your own powers. You won't admit it now or in the future, but you won't deny it before it's too late. She then went deeper into the ocean, with all that's left were the upper half of her head. She turned around, only showing Quake her eyes, still keeping every word she said to him. Upon turning around, her whole head went under the water, disappearing into the abyss. Don't believe her, Sunstone spoke. You'll be just fine in Homeworld with or without Pink Diamond there. Quake took a deep breath while turning to Sunstone, smiling. I wouldn't mind meeting you in my next dream if it's possible. Just chillax, pal. She leaned down. I might come back to be your professional bodyguard. But those two other gems who want to meet you just as much as I do. Yeah, and I hope they're awesomely charismatic as you are. Sunstone then lifted him up, placing him on her right shoulder. I found you awesomely cool. Thanks, Quake replied. Am I about to wake up? Really soon, Allpaw smiled. I found a way to end your dream before waking up. You still have a rope? Never forget it, because professionals never do. Sunstone lifted her rope up in her hand. With confidence in both of the two gems, Sunstone tied the rope around her body while standing by Opal. Opal took out her energy bow as Sunstone swung her rope above her head. Just before Opal released her glowing arrow, Sunstone threw her rope, capturing the arrow as she and Quake were pulled by the arrow. Oh yeah, Quake cheered as Sunstone skate across the ocean. The sun setting over the ocean mesmerized Quake to where the reflection from the water couldn't get any brighter. Is this enough for you to see me as a professional pal? Sunstone turned to him. More than enough for me, Quake turned back to her. As long as you always believe in me and my two gem dudes, you'll be safe and sound in Homeworld. Quake slowly looked back at the sun as it was getting brighter even when setting. I'll forever believe in you. As the sun brightened up Quake's eyes, the whole dream turned into pitch brightness with Sunstone still holding on. Then Quake woke up from his dream, with his eyes finally back to normal after the long night he had. Steven from the top bunk opened his eyes from his slumber with sunlight shining through the window. He grew a smile as he got down to the floor, looking at Quake, who yawned. Quake, he spoke. Yes, Steven? Quake looked at Steven. How was your dream? Really fun. He slowly sat on the edge of his mattress while Steven sat next to him. I've met a lot of gems. It would take forever to tell you everything. No need to explain, Steven responded, because I was there the whole time. Soon, Quake picked up the pieces the moment he saw the final gem in his dream. You were Sunstone? Yes, I was, Steven answered. It's not hard when we're not far away from each other. Incredible. In case you're wondering, Sunstone is a fusion of me and Garnet. Wait, if you were a fusion with Garnet and she's a fusion with Paul as Sardonyx, that would mean it was all a dream. It's only possible in dreams. As Steven laughed, Quake catched on as he also laughed. Yeah, why would I ever question that? The two continued to laugh in joy as they both got up. Anyway, Connie should be here soon. We should get ready for our day in the creek. Yeah. Quake calmed down as he opened his bedroom door, heading out. As for Steven, his laughter went into despair, but not completely. He heard what Jasper said, but is certain it's not true. even though he didn't protect Quake all throughout his dream, he made a promise to himself that he will in the next dream. He also headed out the door to put his full focus on the day he's having with Quake, and also what he's gonna do with his friend Kenneth.